Welcome to Media Rebel Unplugged, where real women share their wins, failures, and their wild stories about surviving, rebelling, and sometimes just keeping it together with lip gloss and a whole lot of caffeine. Join us as we dive into the rebellion. And don't forget to subscribe and share our podcast.
Hi guys, welcome back to Media Rebel Unplugged. I'm your host, Janice Becker. Joining me is my co-host, Alyssa Ginther. And we have a special guest today, Valerie Wolford from the City of Green. She is their communications manager. And it is very special to have her with us because we are also located in Green, Ohio. So thanks for joining.
Thank you so much for having me.
Valerie, would you like to tell people what exactly it is that you do and how you got into PR and communications for the city?
I've been doing it for 17 years now. So think of me as the mouthpiece, not because I have a big mouth, but I'm trying to amplify what we're doing, right?
Yes.
So whatever any of our departments are doing, we're trying to share all that information with our residents and stakeholders. So residents, businesses, we want them to have the information that they need. We want to know about the programs and things that we are doing and how we're spending their tax dollars. So yeah, that's kind of the role.
I feel like in this day and age, you have to use so many different tactics to stay in front of people everywhere that they are, digitally and physically, and we're always trying to think out of the box on how we can reach people.
Yes. Actually, one of the things I think works the best, yard signs.
Yeah.
Out of home, I think still now has a really high success rate because of that. Because how do you get to somebody who you're not in their algorithm?
Right. Especially digital out of home. Like, I was getting gas the other day and they have where they can run ads. And one I thought was really smart was a static ad, but it made a musical noise at the beginning and it did make me look. So it's like you're annoyed to hear somebody talking to you as a commercial at the gas pump, but I didn't mind the little blip of noise that made me look over and go, oh, that was interesting. I mean, it wasn't relevant to me because it was a vape and I don't do that. But I still thought it was very creative to make people look, while they're pumping gas. So
yeah, and I've been trying to tap into that. So maybe one of our upcoming projects.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So how did you become the communications manager for the city?
So I moved to Green 19 years ago. I was doing marketing communications for a number of companies. And I had just lost my largest client, which was fine. It was a mutual thing. I was starting to look for a new client. And at the same time, the mayor at the time was reaching out to different people that he knew were in the field. And they're like, I need to connect you. And so the rest is kind of history.
I recently attended the city address by the mayor, and I really liked the way that it was articulated with the quilt theme. And I also recently saw that being utilized some more. It seems like that's going to be a continuation throughout the year. But would you like to tell everybody, how that came about and what tools you've used, if anything, like, AI or anything like that kind of assisted you in that process?
Yeah. So the mayor came to me in November. It's basically a compilation of the prior year. So I'm always throwing stuff into a folder electronically or on my desk of ideas and stuff. But he came and said, what do you think about a quilt theme? And kind of gave him a look, and I'm like, and he starts to go down with the metaphor of a quilt. And I'm like, man, that could get really cheesy, right? I mean, like, a quilt is about providing comfort and a sense of home and belonging, and how a quilt has all these different pieces but looks beautiful. I mean, like, you could go on and on with metaphor.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, let me think about it. Not because I was opposed to it. I was just like, let me process that in my head. Yeah. How did we make that work? And so we then kind of brainstorm and talk about things and how we want to do it. And then I sit down and kind of take the first stab of, okay, here are the pieces that have to go in it, get the facts that need to be in there. And then we start wrapping the stories around and putting them together. Since we moved to the high school to do the presentation, we did that during COVID because we could live stream it and we wanted more space to let people spread out. Now we have a stage that we have to address. And last year we had banners printed that was kind of going on the theme and hung them from the stage. And I'm like, I said to my staff, what if we hung quilts? And I'm like, let's borrow quilts and hang them. And this person in our parks department, her name's Marcy. She is fabulous. She's got such a great eye for like kind of design, especially like, home design. Not my thing. I love it. I love appreciating it, but not my thing. So I gave her the task and said, you want to help us? And she's like, sure. And she did a phenomenal job. And then Kevin, who is our digital media specialist, is fabulous. He does all the visuals. He's great with lighting. He's great. He does all the technical stuff, which is why you have a team where people have different strengths, right? Mm-hmm. It just really came together. There's others that help us kind of just day of and prepare for the event. So, and the mayor did a fabulous job. Those last 2 weeks, we sit every day and go over the speech for a little bit.
It was quite a speech, but it was articulated very well.
And you mentioned AI. This is the first year I've used AI, and I've been trying to figure out how do we incorporate it ethically and responsibly into what we do. How can we be more efficient? Where does this tool fit? Because that's what it is, a tool. There's a lot to talk about. So we go from infrastructure. We were talking about cemeteries. We're talking about fire, safety. I mean, like, how do you jump from cemeteries to let's talk about the fun stuff in the parks, right?
That's a tough one.
Yeah. Transitions are hard to make happen. Okay, we've got these points. Mm-hmm. So we're going from this topic to this topic. I need a transition.
Oh, let's just start right.
And it would give some great ideas. You know, of course, you massage it from there, but it's like, oh, I like where it's going with that.
Yeah.
Without overdoing it, but kind of weaving the, kind of theme throughout. So it works.
That gives you that creative spark, though. Like, okay, this is my starting point. Where can we run?
Yes.
With it? Yeah.
It is a great tool to kind of spark the creativity or take you in a direction that you didn't know. So we're like, let's try it a different way. So that's what we did this time. Our finance director happens to be leaving the city. He's retiring.
So I saw the city is hiring for a finance director. If anybody knows of anyone.
It's a great place to work. All the cool kids work there. They just happen to let me work there. This year we're hiring quite a few different people at all different levels.
I saw today that you had posted about an inclusive committee that Green has, and I wasn't familiar with that. And I also had seen the quilted theme was still being used in that. So could you tell us more about what the inclusive committee is doing here in Green?
Yes. So it started 3-4 years ago. I mean, it's been around for a while. It started with a different name, and we decided to kind of rebrand it as Inclusion and Belonging, because it's really what it's about.
Yes.
It is about everyone feeling like they have a place, regardless of how you look or what your abilities are. Mm-hmm. That's the point of a community. We're just trying to figure out, like, how can we bring more people into the city, meaning who are already here, be a part of the activities and make this feel like home. And so we have different speakers. We're talking about different things. We're trying to be more inclusive with different cultures and identify some of that are now. Granted, we're diverse as a community, but we do, I mean, in the schools, they have something like 25 different languages that kids speak at home. Now, that's a lot, right? Obviously English is one of them, but, the fact that their family is bilingual and sometimes multilingual is, I think, amazing. And I think we should celebrate that and learn from it. So we're trying to do some different things. So Celebration of Education is coming up. So we thought, well, how do we play off the quilt theme? Mm-hmm. And we're going to have everyone create a quilt. It's on paper, and you'll have a little quilt square that'll be there. And there's some prompts. So, like, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite activity? What are some cultural things? What do you, favorite vacation? Things that, like, describe you. And then we're going to take them and create a quilt out of them on paper. Neat. Just to say, here are the people of Green. We wanted to make it for all ages because Celebration of Education is for all ages. So, 2-year-old come in and scribble on it and say, choose. And I can draw my stick figures. And that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah,
art is art.
I think sometimes we have more diversity around us than we realize that we do. And something like this really does bring that out for a community. And I think that's really important that you're highlighting that. And I think that's great. Like you said, as a community, that's what makes us who we are. And that's just like my neighborhood. We have people that have moved here from Africa. We have people from Russia. And we have people from India. And it's, within just my 2 blocks of people. And just like my daughter got on the bus today, and it was really funny. Another mom and I feel like at the same time we said, be careful, but she said it in Russian and it sounded so much better than me. I was like, I just looked at her like, can you teach me how to say that? Because it was more assertive. I think that's great that you're really bringing that to the forefront, and especially for kids, because when children aren't from the community that they're in, it's really easy for them to feel like they're excluded. Mm-hmm. And so something like that is so important.
Yeah. And I mean, it's our world today.
It is.
And we should, interact with others. Everybody counts.
Absolutely.
And for the most part, we're all the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We all love good food and family.
Mm-hmm.
What culture does?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to circle back on AI because I really like, how you mentioned it's a tool. There are so many people that are afraid that AI is coming for their jobs, especially when it comes to areas of web development and communications. And I think that it's really important to highlight that it does help us work better, work more efficiently, use the right side of our brain a little bit more, like Alyssa mentioned. Like it really does help you think a little bit more clearly or out of the box than you would typically think of. But using that is you have to pilot guys like, hey, this is what I want you to do for me, and I need, or no, you did this wrong. I'm always in ChatGPT, like that is not what I wanted you to do. I thought you were supposed to be smarter than this AI.
I had to yell at ChatGPT the other day for that same reason.
Did you?
I needed a prompt for something just to get like the juices flowing.
Yes.
And it showed me something completely unrelated, and I was like, "What are you good for?"
So what AI tools have you tried?
So we're using ChatGPT with the Pro version.
Okay.
So I'd seen this article. It was one of the founders of LinkedIn. I had kind of coined this with AI, and I think it really makes sense. There are doomers, gloomers, zoomers, and bloomers. So doomers are, oh my God, the world is going to end. We're going to be run by machines, right?
Mm-hmm.
So none of us here. Bloomers are like, we're going to lose a job. Doomers are like, they want to try everything and they want to do everything with AI, maybe a little over the top. And then bloomers are like, okay, I want to use the tool, figure out how to use it, incorporate it into my daily life, but kind of pump the brakes a little.
Yeah.
Like, let me find where it fits, for example. So, I've been writing news releases for 30 years. So I can write one faster, and to prompt ChatGPT, I have to write the stuff. Anyways, you got to put in if it's an event, the who, what, why, when, where, how. Right. So typically I use it for that. I'll be like, the polishes and see what comes out. Like, oh, that adds just a little bit of spice or something that, may make it a little easier to read. Or even sometimes it'll reorganize and I like it better. Yeah. Okay. Sometimes it doesn't change much, which is fine. So I'll use it for that. We have the Pro version because you can create custom bots.
Oh, okay.
And I'm sure you guys probably have done this. But so we have one that's for emergency. So it has to be factual, it has to be written at a 6th grade reading level, not because people aren't smart, but because it has to be clear and direct kind of thing. So we've kind of, you teach it and you use it for that. I have one for the mayor's voice so that the team can write quotes for the mayor in news releases. Now, granted, he reads them and approves them.
Right.
But it allows some of those who are new at writing quotes for people the chance to be a little more spot on, a little less, editing time.
Yeah, it's more efficient.
It's more efficient, right? So, and what we did was took some of his emails, some of his writings, his voice, and you feed it in there, and it kind of gets his, kind of his voice, so it kind of sounds like him.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And, it works out, especially we're doing a news release on Freedom Fest. We're not talking about, anything that's, major controversy.
Right.
Yeah.
So, so using it that way, using it to create ideas, a lot of times where it helps me is because we're moving so fast. I'm working on this project, pivot. I have to go to this project next. I need an outline to get me started.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it just is like, oh, yeah. Otherwise, the pause I would have to take to get there takes longer.
I always say with my perimenopause, my brain fog is real.
Yes.
I mean, it happens. And if it wasn't for ChatGPT, I don't think I could get through the brain frog. See, it's a frog.
It's a frog.
I know.
100%.
The brain
Cute
fog.
little frog.
Little umbrella and everything.
Yeah. We're going to put them on the screen. But speaking of, what helped me get through the day with my brain frog, what helps you, Valerie, get through the day?
Coffee.
Yes.
That was the correct
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
No. Maybe Alani.
I don't know. We say lip gloss and caffeine get us through the day in our intro, and I feel like that's always my thing. I have this weird obsession of not having dry lips, so I always have to.
She's always put in.
So what's the best lip gloss?
Yes. Well, so I actually have moved away from lip gloss, and I use Laneige lip. It's like a overnight sleep mask,
Okay.
but I swear by it for my all day, and you can get it 10. So there you go. There's a little plug for Laneige lip mask.
You get to tap into them to get some.
I'm hinting to Laneige right now for future sponsorships. I love your products.
Yeah, there's something about a good lipstick, though.
Yes. Well, and I think Elizabeth Taylor, I hope I'm quoting the right person. I'm pretty sure it was Elizabeth Taylor said it, was that no matter how down you were, she was like, pick yourself up and put your lipstick back on, and you go get it. And that's what women do. It doesn't matter how down we are. We have our moments of we might have a moment of screaming and crying and breaking down, and, we still pull ourselves back up and we get out there. So I'm sure you found yourself in moments of, I can't take any more of this from people. And what gets you through in those moments?
Yeah, I've gotten some thick skin because it's usually not about you. I see this in some of the younger professionals where they really thought that was going to go. More people would have liked that post. It may just be the algorithm today isn't feeding your post to the people that would like it. Or, wow, they really hated that. I didn't know that they were going to be so mean.
We take things very personally. I think some of us are very self-aware that it's not directed at us or the company, but it's still the disappointment of we didn't get those interactions that we were hoping for, or this went viral for somebody else. Why didn't it go viral for us? And
yes, and with the city, we're government. They're not going to trust government. That's just where they start. So we just accept to go. Okay, well, it's their opinion. They're allowed to have that. Yeah, we're all allowed to have our opinion. So, I don't take any of it personally.
Right. Did you see all the positivity that actually came out of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very easy to hyperfixate on the negative.
Well, it's human nature.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like on social media, we're more apt to be confident in saying things that we wouldn't say in person because they feel protected behind a screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
keyboard warrior.
Yeah, exactly. They can be more aggressive than they would be if they were sitting right here looking at you and saying it.
Right. Yeah. We post at certain times for certain messages, knowing that at certain times a day, you're only going to get more negative, but we need to share it. Usually we do those early in the morning so that we can monitor throughout the day.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be up late. I just don't.
That's exactly what I do.
And we try not to, we don't monitor 24/7, but obviously in the morning we monitor what's going on. So
jump on, check it out, see what's going while you drink your morning coffee.
Right.
Yep. So why would a business normally reach out to you? Like, is it they want you to help push a message out for them, or what do you think it is?
Yeah. So this is the biggest challenge I have as communicator for the city. My role is essentially public information in the city. So we love our businesses. We want to promote our businesses, but I can't promote everybody. Right. And so how do we do that? So when a business comes here, we'll promote that through our social. If we partner with the business, so if somebody's a sponsor, that's how we'll promote. And it's never intentional, but we all gravitate towards the things that we see. So it's difficult at that. It's also difficult with our nonprofit organizations. We want to highlight them, but once again, we can't share one organization's night at the races and not another. And we literally could be doing that all day long. So it's a little bit of a challenge. It's the thing that I'm still trying to figure out, like, what's the policy that works best? And we try to say, well, if the city is involved in some way, or if there's a newsworthy event of that business, that makes sense. And then usually I try to share a third-party source.
That's what I was going to ask next is if there is a plan in place of okay, we're actually involved in this event, we'll share it out. Or do you send them to the local chamber and you talk to them because that's part of their deal is promoting local businesses, or if you have an actual plan in place for that?
Yeah, we do when we go to businesses, and there's somebody who does economic development that meets with our businesses and helps them, kind of navigate anything they need through the city, but also encourage them to do the chamber and what other resources that they're going to need.
Well, I think we've covered all of our bases today, and I am really excited that you got to be here with us. Valerie, where can people go to learn more about the City of Green and all the great things that you guys are doing?
Okay. And you can go to our website, so cityofgreen.org, and that'll take you everywhere you need to go. We're also on social media. The main one is Facebook. I guess also on Instagram. Build that audience. So if you're an Instagrammer, follow us on Instagram.
All right. We will definitely do that. Thank you so
again
much
for joining us
Thanks for
today.
having me. This is fun.
Yes, it's always a good time here. Thank you again. Make sure you follow the City of Green on Instagram and Facebook. Check out their website. Thank you for joining us today again on Media Rebel Unplugged. Make sure to like and subscribe and stay rebellious, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Media Rebel Unplugged. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, share, and join the rebellion. So stay bold, stay caffeinated, and we'll catch you next time.